Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, Jamil wanted us to stop and visit her when I was discharged after giving birth. MIL kicking us out via attorneys. My mom tried to give away my wedding dress. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Jamil wanted us to stop and visit her when I was discharged after giving birth. A couple years ago, I gave birth to our first viaduct unplanned C-section. It was a traumatic birth. I had a postpartum hemorrhage and was unconscious for hours after the surgery. Jamil called DH saying she wanted us to come to her house when I was discharged so she could meet the baby. She wanted us to visit on our way home, not a few days later, but as we were leaving. Who would ask that of a woman who just gave birth? Seriously. Jamil has 2 kids, she was a nurse for 20 years. You would think she would know better than to ask that. Of course, we said no. Fast forward to this month, I give birth to our second child. Thankfully, the birth was an uncomplicated VBAC. DH and I were overjoyed that welcoming our second child was a happy event. Well, until JNMIL called him asking once again that we stop by as we leave the hospital. He tells her no, again. She then plays victim, saying she's just asking for 5 minutes and we're keeping her grandchild away from her. No lady, we are not keeping our baby from you. If you want to see her, just come to our house. She is able to drive and physically able to make her way to our house. I'm pretty sure any woman who has just given birth, who has a safe, comfortable home to go to, will want to go straight home. We're keeping her grandchild away from her. We weren't going to, but I don't want to make you a liar, so I guess we are now. Best comment ever. If COVID has taught me anything, it's that a large number of nurses are the most out of touch and entitled jerks out there. Good on you guys for standing your ground. Yep, my MIL is an ex-nurse and midwife. My incubator had finally birthed my baby and has now become the deliverer. Deliver the child now. What do you mean no? How very dare you? Keeping my child away. The audacity. Tantrum. Congratulations on your second baby. I've been watching too much Bluey thanks to my toddler and read this all with an Australian accent, haha. OMG, what is happening to my generation of grandmothers? Do they forget what they went through? When my DIL brought her first baby home, I went to their house before they got home, made a nice breakfast casserole and made sure the fridge was stocked, said hi when they came in, cooed at the newborn, and left. Can you please be my MIL? I don't think they forget, more don't care. It's not affecting them rebirth and postnatal, so gimme baby rabies. My in-laws did this sh*t too. They told us to come over after being discharged because they had made dinner for us, so we wouldn't have to cook. And yep, DH was just of course about it. He didn't see a problem at all, because look, they are being nice and cooked for us. So I got to spend the first evening out of the hospital miserable, in pain and uncomfortable, watching them pass my newborn. A lot has changed since then, because that was just the start of it, and I eventually put my foot down. So happy you guys were able to see how crappy it was and say no immediately. Both times. Not much shocks me on this sub, but this is truly awful. I can't imagine doing anything else but go home, sit on my own couch and order takeout after giving birth. Going to someone else's house would be the worst. Star to shame her. Mil, I wonder what people would think if they heard a former nurse asked a woman that just birthed a baby for a 5 minutes visit right now when she is leaving the hospital. I can bet they would ask you if your degree was for real and not just Monopoly paperwork. As a nurse myself, sadly we are not all cut from the same cloth. I don't work in that specialty, and even I know the demand to stop by after discharge from giving birth is ludicrous. I'm guessing she wasn't a very empathetic nurse. That type of behavior is straight out of the monarch matriarch playbook. MIL expects her son and his incubator wife to come to Her Royal Highness's court and present the new subject to her for approval. A similar thing is when the ILs, particularly retired ILs who travel for fun, won't travel to see their grown children but expect the grown children to use their limited vacation time come to them, the IL's house. Heck, even monarchs give a woman long enough for the bleeding to slow down a bit. Absolutely. My MIL expects me and my hubby to travel 6+ hours to spend time with them. My husband gets 10 days of vacation a year. They want us to stay at their house, which has 3 bedrooms with 4 people living there. No. My granny managed to come visit me when I brought mine home. She was 95 years old, blind, and crippled. But she didn't expect me to bring baby to her. She got my mom and dad to help get her over to my house. If she can manage, so can your MIL. I love your granny. That's what the world needs more of. MIL kicking us out via attorneys. We haven't spoken in 13 years because she used me, was two-faced towards me, and when I started saying no, she started treating me badly. Would ignore me, talk ill of me. Didn't come to our wedding, tried to stop it from happening. She recently had some life changes, so we said she could stay here for a week. In February. I must add that it's her house, but we are on a verbal lease, so we are protected by laws. Within 2 days of her being here, she started redecorating. Was putting up her own ornaments, own curtains, etc. After 4 days, she and my partner had an argument about me. Within a week, we had a huge fight, but we were okish after that. She had an op in March, and the whole way to the hospital, she moaned about how we're letting the place fall apart. She believes as the tenants, we are responsible for repairs and maintenance, so we did the bare minimum. I kept quiet about the redecorating, ignored her negative comments and insinuations, insults, etc. One morning, my partner and I argue. My partner leaves for work, my in-law tries to find out what the fight was about. I tell her it's none of her business, close the door and go to my bed to cry. She barges in, asks what's wrong, and I tell her again, it's not her business, please respect that I want to be alone, and also you can't just walk into a room like that. Doesn't she blow up on me, telling me I must leave and that I am so disrespectful to her, etc. After this, my partner offers to rent her a place elsewhere. I ignore her from that point on. Then I find out after that she spent hours badmouthing me to a cleaner she made us hire. Not just me, but my family too. Called me a dirty white, called me racist, called my family racist, said we are dirty, we live like pigs, I'm a lazy cook, I can't pick up a broom, the dogs have more rights than her, ripped us to shreds. Also, she keeps telling my partner that they will see that she's right about me, don't be blinded by love, what kind of coward doesn't defend their mother, my partner barely knows me. We say nothing to her about the badmouthing. She has another op in April. She asks my partner after this op why don't I like her. My partner tells her that it's because she said things about me and she denies everything. Even though my partner heard her. One day I'm in the kitchen when she claims to my partner she said nothing, so I confronted her. She called me a racist to my face. My partner tells her to leave, she can't talk to me like that. My in-law says fine, she'll leave, but then rather moves everything out the garage into the guest room, and moved the guest room things into the garage for her to live there. And she's been there this whole time. She still expects the full rent, we paid 2/3 of it this month, why must we pay full rent? We can't use our guest room or garage. We can't use half the garden because it's on her side. She cries that she can't afford not to have the 1/3 we didn't pay, but just spent thousands to renovate the garage. She is using our fridge, our bed, our microwave oven, our spare TV, our electricity, our internet. So 2 to 3 is fair. Considering she actually told my partner if she had to live there, we wouldn't have to pay at all. Today, we get served with a letter from an attorney that we need to move out in 30 days. In the letter she claims that she moved in here and that we forced her into the garage, it's not desirable for her so we must leave. What a liar, Also, how could she afford an attorney? We will leave, but she's the worst. As bad as it is, see this as a blessing. Move, take everything of yours with you, including light bulbs, toilet roll, microwave, TV, tools, cutlery, napkins, etc., petty, etc. Make sure all utilities you pay for are cut off on day after you leave too. Let her arrange to set that all up in her name. Then go 100% NC and live your best life. Good luck. I've been wanting to leave for ages, but this is my partner's childhood home and I think it was difficult to come to that decision. So I'm glad it was made for us, but not like this. We're planning on moving closer to my functional smiley. You rent from her, move your stuff out, take your name off of everything, get a P.O. box for your mail. Move all the bills into her name regardless, stop auto payments on utilities, cable/internet, and phone, and let her stew. Honestly, I'd just move. Flat out leave. You do not want her to decide to go through with an actual eviction because then you will have trouble getting a new plaque. What someone else said about canceling the utilities on the day you move out. Internet, too. Change the streaming passwords when you leave and force logouts of all devices. All of them. Claim the moral high ground and tell her that you have done so when you have your new place. That way you didn't cut the power without warning. Make sure that you password the utilities that you have moved. Actually, consider moving the utilities rather than simply shutting them off. Goes back to moral high ground. Get a P.O. box now, and start moving your mail. Be sure and file a change of address form. Pull copies and supporting documentation for your tax return and change all of those addresses. Some things you can easily forget because you only get them in February. Says the person who continues to receive tax documentation for the people who moved out in 2016. Consider paperless. She is using our fridge, our bed, our microwave oven, our spare TV, our electricity, our internet. Take it all. Leave her with nothing. Maybe trash or broken things. If she can't afford her 1/3 rent, how will she pay full? But then again, how can she pay for an attorney unless she's lying about finances as well? Go and see, and if your partner wants to see her, then he can go alone. If they leave trash or broken things behind, she could claim that they intentionally destroyed the house and go after them for damages and make them pay to remove everything. Not even trash. What op doesn't want should go to the trash, period. Break it before throwing away, so she doesn't even pick it back up. Also, NC for OP. And not help her at all, for no reason. Take everything that's yours, put a stop to any bills that are in your name, and move as soon as you can. This is not going to get better, it could maybe blow over this time, but it would only be another problem later, and then another, ad infinitum. I'm not sure how a verbal lease would stand up in court if things got so far, as it would be one person's word against another, and she has already shown herself to be untruthful. Go as soon as you can afford to. You can easily get a storage unit for the next 2 months and start moving your furniture out. Like the bed she uses and the TV. I hope you have receipts for the fridge. By putting your stuff in storage for now, she can destroy it. That's a good idea. My family has even offered to store some stuff for us, we could take them there. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? She gonna kick us out? Make sure you leave the house bare. Then try moving far away and go and see. But after moving out, I'd look for anything I can take her to court over to send her broke. Lao. Let her rot in the house. Let her come up with the payments. Let her fix it up to the new tenant's standards. Let her get frustrated with them when they aren't perfect. She'll regret it immensely once she sees it bare. My mom tried to give away my wedding dress. I got married in May of 2020. We had almost finished planning everything, invitations were sent, caterer was hired, venue was selected, dress was in alterations, and so on, when the pandemic hit. Due to timing, we couldn't even get a marriage license in our state. We canceled everything and traveled one state over to get married on our original date. When everything shut down, my sister and matron of honor went on a stealth mission to get my dress back from the seamstress, and since I live pretty far away, the dress ended up in storage at my mom's house. When we got married, I wore the dress I'd bought for my bridal shower, which had also been canceled, instead. The weddings we've been to since then have all been pretty emotional for me. I'd been to 4 since ours was canceled. It's the moment when the bride walks down the aisle that triggers the tears. I always thought I would have that moment, too, but I just didn't. I'm able to hold things together enough to present as happy for the couple, but it's still hard. Jump forward to a few weeks ago. My dress is still at my mom's house, however, we do now have enough storage space to have it at our place soon. I got a text on a Sunday afternoon with a life update from a bridesmaid. She's engaged. I'm really happy for her, and we chatted by text about how she was proposed to and about her rings. Just a super happy and nice conversation. This friend's family is also friends with my mom. She often houses it for my mom when my folks are on vacation and stuff like that. Apparently, my friend also texted my mom, as that evening I got a text from my mom that was just of the bride emoji. I texted back something like I know. So excited. And then my mom called. I shouldn't have picked up the phone, my husband and I were eating dinner. But I did, because it's a reflex. I always pick up for my mom. She immediately started talking super excitedly about my friend's wedding. About how she called my friend and had a conversation about what my friend's plans are and where she wants to get married and a bunch of random details that typically aren't determined literally the day someone gets engaged. Meanwhile, my husband is looking at me from across the dinner table and mouthing just hang up. When I can finally get a word in edgewise, I tell her we're eating dinner. Can I call back in 10 minutes? Okay, but... She just starts talking quickly again. And that's when she dropped the bomb. It apparently just slipped out that she knows where my friend can find a wedding dress since they're on a budget. I immediately saw red, but my response was to freeze. I honestly can't even say whether or not my mom apologized for it. But she did mention she wasn't sure my friend would say yes. I just... What? I got off the phone with her and ended up crying for pretty much the rest of the night. Who the hell offers a person someone else's wedding dress, let alone a wedding dress that the bride didn't even get to wear? I texted my friend. Hey, so I don't want this to become a thing or whatever, but my mom did not have permission to offer my dress to you. She and I had not discussed it. I am really happy for you. Just please don't wear my dress, lol. Thankfully, because she is a wonderful and rational person, she immediately responded that she wasn't going to and that the whole interaction with my mom had made her uncomfortable. She instantly referenced the fact that I didn't get to wear the dress in the first place. I'm planning on taking the dress back from my mom's house in about a week, after my husband and I return from vacation. My mom will be taking care of our dog while we're away, and I'm planning on referencing our new extra storage space as a reason behind taking it now. But I really don't know how or even if I should discuss the huge boundaries she crossed with me, and that it really upset me. That she had no right to offer my dress to someone else. That it already hurts to go to other people's weddings because of how ours went down, and I could never imagine going to a wedding where someone else is wearing the wedding dress I never did. I'm at her house now, as I'm dropping off our dog this weekend. She hasn't said a word about offering my dress to my friend since that phone conversation, and she's been pretending like nothing is wrong. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for with this post. Validation that what she did was unacceptable? Advice on how to approach the conversation or if I need to have the conversation in the first place? Empathy, because apparently my mother doesn't have any of that for me? Any and all of those are appreciated, I guess. Edit. Thanks everyone for your responses so far. A few people have suggested having a vow renewal on our first anniversary, but there are a few problems with that. 1. We've now been married for over 2 years. 2. Because of the COVID weight I've gained, the dress that was altered to fit me perfectly no longer fits. And 3. We really can't afford it. I'm not trying to say that's a bad idea, because it's not. It's a great idea. It just really is not feasible for us. Hope she does not come across a friend who wants a dog while she is sitting. Thankfully, in this situation and this situation only, the pups has a bunch of medical issues, so I doubt someone else would want to take on that responsibility. Although that has been another point of contention, as she's requested I be very specific about what to do if my dog's health goes sideways while we're away. Mom wouldn't want to have to make extreme medical decisions while we're gone. Specifically around end-of-life care. Happy Cake Day. Have your wedding on your 1-year anniversary and wear your beautiful dress. I was just going to suggest this same idea. You can plan a small friends and family event and wear the dress and take pictures. Might not be what you planned, but it can be a solution. Since the dress doesn't fit perfectly for a vow renewal, you can have an anniversary photo shoot of you in the dress. You can get creative with your veil/cape/wrap to hide the gaping zipper, and your DH in a suit/tux. You can have a regular photo shoot, a glamour Instagram style photo shoot, or you can recreate you walking down the aisle and meet your DH at the altar. You can be creative, and photographers love doing shoots that are personal and meaningful. You can always do a vow renewal ceremony and wear your dress. Just a thought. I just wanted to add that it's likely a good thing that the dress didn't come up before you left on vacation, but I agree that it's best for you to take the dress with you when you get back. Your mother was definitely wrong to offer the dress without talking to you first. Please consider doing a vow renewal so you can wear your dress, and when you get a chance, please pay the dog tax. Dog tax. Hopefully I did that right. Kindly asked, and everyone needs a good pic of a cute doggy. Unlike the demand and calling OP a coward. She is anything but a coward. Stand your ground, OP. When you take the dress back, just grin at her and say, "And now, no danger of my dress wandering out into the world." Ha ha ha, I wish I had the guts to say something like that. It's never okay to offer someone else's property to a third party. Especially when it's so important to the person who owns it. You should take back your dress, and all your other possessions, and make sure your mother doesn't have access. Let her know that if anyone wants something of yours, they need to speak with you directly, and that if she offers something of yours, you are not obligated to give it. If that embarrasses her, that's on her, so it is best for her not to offer. I'm sorry you had to cancel your wedding. You can do a renewal on your anniversary. Not quite the same, but at least you can wear your dress. Wouldn't know the approach part of this, but I can give you the validation part. Yes, your mother was wrong. Very, very wrong. Be glad you have a good friend who, upon realizing the situation, refuses to wear your wedding dress. Here's your validation: this was an emotional betrayal. Your mom was probably caught up in the moment, but she hurt you. I think this will fester if you don't bring it up to her. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.